I'm nervous.
Because it's been a minute.
Okay. Okay. Are we recording already? Oh shit, nice. Hello!
Hello.
And welcome.
Welcome.
Your head's a little big right here.
Let me get back. Okay, there you go.
Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Wow Gr8 Podcast.
Cheers. Today we are drinking Gaia. Oh, that's Liquid Death.
You know.
Mountain spring water. I'm drinking the Gayaki Yerba Mate. Enlightenment flavor, because it is the superior flavor, I will say. Yeah,
Do you have any new news?
New news. Let's think. I'm unemployed. Actually, no, I'm not unemployed. I'm in my quarter life retirement that we all know and love. Super common American thing. If you're from somewhere else, you just probably haven't heard of it, but that's what happens when you turn 26, 27.
Yeah.
You take your
Your
first
retirement.
retirement.
Yeah.
So I'm in my quarter life retirement. Day 3. Feels great.
Yeah, anyone listening from not the United States, you won't really be familiar with this because you probably get paid a living wage or like whatever. But yeah.
Probably never been burnt out to the point of wanting to die.
No, there's a lot of countries that have been really burnt out.
True. Well, if you're in Europe, you wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand. I don't think we have any actual new news besides just convincing you guys to buy our stickers. I do want to point out, and this is gonna be like, I guess, in the works. We do want to do something in regards to donating money for what's going on in Colombia right now, because as you know, one of our favoriteest people and peoples are from Colombia, so we really are hurting, I feel like right now, just knowing that that's all going on. So if we could do a little bit to help, that'd be cool. So if you want to buy some stickers, we're gonna work on a post to explain donation stuff and all of that good stuff. So think about it, buy a sticker, help the cause, not our cause, the Colombia cause.
The Colombia cause.
I think that's all we have.
Yeah, by the time that this airs, well, okay, so I want to, anyone who bought a shirt, thank you, you sold me out in 24 hours, so I guess I'll be restocking again eventually, but thank you to everyone who purchased a shirt. I am floored. I am really bad at expressing emotions, so thank you is all I can say, because I'll probably cry about it by myself of how flattered and honored and humbled I am that people actually want to buy something that I made. Anyways, so orders are going out, and if you ordered a shirt, you'll probably get it by now.
So that sounds good. Is it the same one?
Yep.
Cool.
Or no, I updated it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so thank you so much for being here and listening again. I can't believe we've made it to episode 7. I mean, it's only 7 episodes, but that's like, it feels like 700
episodes. Yeah. I feel like we've learned a lot, and I'm really excited to figure it out a little bit more.
Oh my god, I know that we say this every single time, but it's true.
It is true. And your support and your reposts and all of like your little DMs and kind words really, really do mean everything to us, because this is a mom and pop shop.
Yes.
Mom and pop. It was just us two. So
mom, pop, mom. Yeah. So, absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy, because I was just thinking about like how, well, okay, so I actually I don't listen to every single episode that we do, or I haven't listened to every single episode, but I was driving to the Bay Area with my partner, Gregorio, and he was like, let's listen to a podcast, and I was like, never heard of that. But then we were like, I listened to the last podcast, or shouts out LPOTL. No, but I was listening to the last episode, and I was like, wow, I'm stoked that we get to do this. Like, I can't believe we get to do this. Like, we get to talk to people about roller skating. Like, what? I know that that's like the whole point of the show, but
it's really nice.
It hit me where I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, we get to do that. That's crazy. So
we get to talk to so many cool people. So today's person is 1, so fucking cool, 2, so underrated.
Oh my gosh.
I just met this person. You've known Chandra for a little bit longer, correct?
Kind of yes and no. I've been like aware of her, but not aware of her.
It feels like I've known her forever.
Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. I'm so obsessed with her, like unhealthily obsessed with her. And what's the word you used?
Underrated.
Underrated is like and it's not even people are down rating her, it's just people don't know who she is.
People don't know. Literally,
and I'm
I
like,
think she has
what?
1,000 or so followers, maybe.
And
like, she needs to have.
I want her to be God.
I want her, like, you know when you watch people skate and you say, like, that style looks really cool, that's attainable. Okay, well, Chandra's style is really cool, but it's completely unattainable because it is so organic, so fluid, so, like, heavy. Like, I feel like a lot of skating that I've seen recently or been stoked on is like really light and like
like
just kind of
airy
and weightless, but like Chandra skates heavy and it's such a fucking cool thing to see.
Like heavy, not in the like, oh gosh, I feel like you're gonna die, but heavy, like heavy metal.
Yeah,
like so fucking good. Yeah. Shouts out again, LPOTL.
Maybe they'll listen.
Texting her right now, but yeah, I got to spend like 48 hours with this person. Shouts out Pfizer Moderna. But yeah, we got to hang out and I did not realize I could be obsessed with someone at this level. Like I think of her all the time. Sounds so creepy.
So we have a crush on Chandra.
So anyways, we have a crush on our guest. But like once you listen to this episode, I mean, I am getting ahead of myself. No, I'm making a big promise by saying that once you listen, you're gonna be like, whoa, yeah, I'm obsessed with Chandra too.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a promise that I feel like is pretty easy to keep.
Yeah.
We're not doing any work for them.
Yeah. Chandra just is incredible. So, anyways, without further ado.
Is it gonna work again? No, probably not. Because
where are you?
We don't get that lucky, but
where are you,
come on in, Chandra? Water's fine.
Dun, 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 dun. What's the song we were singing earlier?
Oh, boom, boom,
oh wait.
Boom,
want you in my Zoom. We'll spend the night together.
You know, sometimes we like think about trimming things out. Think about editing.
Want you in my Zoom. I know. We'll spend this podcast together. You're gonna have a bunch of red hairs on your floor. I'm so sorry. I'm shedding.
Robert's cheating on me with Alyssa.
I'm just like in here, like, hello, Owen.
I'm like littlest spoon.
Oh my gosh. I think that if me, you, and Robert were all spoons, I would be the biggest spoon, and then Owen would be. Oh my god, how handsome!
I really wish I could see it. That's so.
I wish you could see how handsome this boy is. He looks so regal.
Oh! Hey! We always, sorry headphone listeners, we always blow everybody out.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Bunch. Oh, I guess live.
I didn't say. Just kidding.
Wait.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't hear what you said, so I don't even know if I was offended.
I said I didn't say triplets.
Okay. Just wanna side note, do you have a fresh bang trim? Is that what I see?
No, dude, these are the same bangos from San Diego.
No way.
Washed. You've never seen me washed before.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah. Wow, you washed for us?
I washed it. Look, I did a little lippy. No big deal. Little lipstick.
Oh, I can see that you're in the bedroom area right now.
Yeah, I thought you'd say living room. I'm in the bedroom.
Okay, do you want to introduce yourself? Name, where you're from, what's your pronouns, what's your sign? I already know all the answers.
What's your rising?
Yeah, my name is Chandra, like Chandra. But people like from roller derby know me as Eco. I'm from Salem, Oregon, born and raised. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a Cancer.
I'm a foot.
I'm a foot right now. If you're not watching the visuals, Chandra has a Cancer crab tattooed on her foot that I commented on when she was here, and I was like, oh, Cancer, huh?
I and retreated to my shell. Just kidding.
To your van shell, yes. Okay, well,
yeah.
so happy that you're here.
Me too.
I wish you were here in person. I was like gonna make a quiche, and I was like, oh, I can bring it for Jay and Chandra, and then I was like, wait.
That would be so
awesome.
like, here's your piece.
Yeah.
We're just
So
eating.
sweet.
No,
You know, I have guys is I've only ever listened on audio, and so your background is pretty fucking primo. Not gonna lie.
yes.
Gold for the win, baby. I got Cheetah Town. Woo!
You are from Cheetah Town. You're from Cheetah Town. You're not actually from Salem. You're just from Cheetah Town.
That's why, yeah. Text like asterisks. I meant to say that for sure.
Yeah, Salem actually is just code word for Cheetah Town. Where are you right now?
I'm in Boise, Idaho.
What the fuck? How did you get there so quickly?
Ew.
I put my foot on the gas.
Oh my god. Wait, did you go straight from well, I guess it's only like 2 states away from where you were. Damn, you hold ass though.
Yeah. So I was like posted up in the Sierras, like out like south of Tahoe for a couple days, just like hot spring and whatever. And then I looked and I thought I was gonna cut back over to the coast. And then I looked at a map and I'm like, literally, I'm pretty close to Idaho. And there's hella like Dreamland and Evergreen skate parks out here. There's hella hot springs, which are my favorite things. So I was just like, yeah, I just boom.
Dude, you're the hot spring king.
Hot spring king. Yeah.
Royalty.
So, okay, do you want to, before we get into skate stuff, do you want to explain how you're able to be in the living room and also in Boise, Idaho, and in the Sierras all at once?
Yeah. I live in my minivan as of right now. For people who can't see. I can even
give us the cribs tour. All right, for everybody that
and then that's not the bathroom. It might look like the bathroom, but yeah, so before COVID, that old thing, I was on a bicycle trip. I was just, well, not even a trip, more of like a lifestyle, but I was just I'm just very nomadic. I don't do very well in just one spot, you know? And so I was on my bicycle and with my roller skates, and I was in a van with somebody I had met. They exposed me to van life or whatever. And so yeah, when COVID hit, I'm like, well, I was just out in the open world and it was kind of scary. Yeah. And so this is plan B. And yeah.
Wow. So, and you can also, I don't have, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to try and limit any stories you have, because I feel like you have such good stories and like really good input. And I love hearing you talk, and I love hearing about just like everything you do. So you're on a bike trip where you're riding your bicycle, like a non-autumn or non-machine.
So the machine is Chandra.
You were the machine.
Oh, my gasoline was my food, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you rode all the way from where to where?
Well, it wasn't like an A to B, like, because on Amtrak, little hot tip, you can put your bike on either for free or for $5. So there'd be times where there'd be like LA, I was like, honey. Yeah. And then for a huge, so I technically, like, I went like Oregon, and I went up to like Olympic Peninsula in Washington, and I went to BC, and then I went back to Oregon, and then I went down California. But I met a travel mate at the time who he was a skateboarder who lived in a van, and so a huge chunk of that travel was with him. I just threw my bike on the back, and we just skated. We went down the 101 coast and hit up all the skate parks along the way. Then when we got to San Diego, like we split ways, and then I bicycled east to Arizona, and then by that time it was like the world shutting down. So that was over like 7-month period.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's incredible.
That is amazing, because I can't do that. I think it's really cool that you can, but I'm not, no. I feel like I'll panic in those situations. Even in like a car ride across the country, I would like.
You'd get eaten by a bear.
I would get eaten by a bear.
For me, like, it's like a 9-year-long lease, and I'm like, no, you know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I like leases, but like I'm a city gal. I'm okay with this. I like being close to my dad. Okay, I'm just
know. That's me with my dad too, though. I'm like, I was just thinking about this today. I was like, man, because Greg's trying to get us to move out of the country, which I'm totally down with, but I'm like, Jack,
Hey, Dad.
Jack, are you coming with us? But anyways, skating. Yes. So, how long have you been skating for? When did you start? What's up?
So I technically got my first pair of skates when I was 16, but I didn't really start skating until I was 18 when I joined roller derby, because before that it was just me and my best friend, like her bombing hills and me like crying and falling in grass and being like, why are you like this? Yeah, and so I watched roller derby when I was 16 with my mom and was like a big ass fan. And then when the league in Salem started, she was like one of the founding members. And on my 18th birthday, I got to start playing roller derby. And then I stopped skating since. And yeah.
So not to like expose you, but how many years would that be altogether?
Oh, well, I'm only 9, so 10 years. Yeah.
Oh.
I started park skating in, I think, like 2017, the end of 2017-ish.
Okay.
And I was still playing roller derby at the time. And it was just, dude, it was like a game changer. There's no rules, I mean, there's etiquette, but aside from that, like, there's no rules. Like, any obstacle, you can kick a wall and be like, that was a fucking trick, because there's no rules.
Yeah.
And I was not good at it, which got me like so juiced, dude, because derby does have rules, and I played long enough that like I was pretty good at it or whatever. And so to do something where all of a sudden every day would be like a new, where I'm like I went over the humpy thing, and I didn't use my toe. Like every day was like a new,
Yeah, I love that trick. That's my favorite one.
Any of the tricks, and it was just so exciting, and I still am juiced, but yeah.
And you said that
so I stopped playing
2017.
2017?
Yeah. So 2017 park skating, it's 2021 now. Well, first and foremost, before we get into like the really intense questions, can you share your skate setup? We like to do this.
Yeah.
Turns out people love this shit. People love hearing about other people's skate setup. You don't have to show it to us, but do you want to just like go?
They're in the house, right? Are they in your house?
Like 4 seconds. Hold on.
Yeah. You just hear, gotta run to the foyer to grab the skates.
I know it's a huge house, so it's like,
take your time.
4 stories away.
The people, it sounds like you're so far. I wonder if the people listening on Spotify don't know. Upstairs. For those listening on Spotify, Chandra just went up the stairs in their living room.
The 4 stories.
To get to the bedroom.
Yeah. Oh, the skate room.
Elevator's broken.
Oh, yeah.
My skate setup, I'm on the AR2 Antic boots, which I fucking love, because you can go wide foot, which I'm all about it, because I got that wide foot. No break-in time. They're so fucking comfortable. There's no heel, which in roller derby, people don't really play with skate with heeled boots. Mm-hmm. And so to park skating that way was like, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm on Michelle's Rollerbones, which I just got on these like, I don't know, like a month ago, and I super dig them. The only thing I'll say about roller skate wheels is that I still wish they made them smaller in diameter. Like, they're so small, and I just feel like this is a whole other side tangent before I finish, but I just feel like our not catching up. I want smaller wheels. Okay, so there's that. I got wide trucks, a little mix and match, because I break trucks a lot apparently. So I have CIB mixed up with just some off-brand skateboard trucks I got online. I think these are gumballs, short step.
They look like gumballs.
And then I got CIB medium sliders.
Wait, I just realized that you're on 2 different trucks.
Yeah, dude, because I've broken 3 trucks in 3 months.
That checks out.
I'm looking at them, and they're visibly different too, though.
The backs are wider.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That's
You
amazing, though.
are a wild woman. Oh my god.
Like, one thing happens to my skate. My lace is tied wrong, and I'm like, I can't do
can't
this. Gotta sit down. Hold on, guys. Gotta redo.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Hey, did you? What's up?
Okay, can I just say, so you say, like, dude, one time, not long ago at all, I swapped out my sliders. I was trying something else. And so you know how it's like slider, cushion, truck, cushion.
Mhm.
I did cushion, slider, truck only on one side. So one of my sliders was down. Dude, 2 weeks. I'm skating like crunchy pools. And I kept being like, God, I just feel kind of weird, but like, whatever. And then I looked down and there was a big gap in one of them because this was lowered. And I'm like, I wasn't crazy. Like, dude, there was something different.
Oh my god, why am I not shocked? Also, I'm like kind of the same way where I'm like, I've been using the Reactor Neo for years, and then I switched over to the Reactor Pro because it was offered to me for free, and I was like, well, yeah, because I'm never gonna buy it. Yeah, and I didn't know anything about the Reactor Pro, and I didn't realize it had so many like bells and whistles, and I like instantly got it and was just like, huh, this something sounds funny, but I don't know, maybe it's just different. And then it ended up that like they came with that, like whoever put them together forgot to put like pivot cups in them, so the pivot arm is just like bah, 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 like pounding into the pivot arm is just pounding into like the cup, I guess, but
Yeah,
without the pivot cup or the cushion
the
thing.
cup holder.
And yeah, and I just like I didn't even realize it, and it like was making all these sounds, and I was like, what's happening? And there's like different screws and stuff. Yeah, I feel you on that, but completely different trucks. That's interesting. That's a new one. But okay, did you have to shave down your kingpins at all or no?
Well, very recently I made a friend in Sacramento, this badass bitch, who was like, hey, do you want me to grind those down for you? And I'm like, yes. And she was like, and then she just did it for me. That's very new in the last month. No, okay, yes. They're grinded down now, but I've had wide trucks for almost 2 years, and forever it was just me naturally having to grind down the kingpins, which is maybe why I struggle with grinding. So yeah.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna say that you don't struggle because I'm not gonna invalidate how you feel, but from moi perspective, I don't see the struggle part.
I wish I struggled.
I wish I struggled in that way too. Where you're just like going fakey, do a little 50-50. It's wild.
Okay, so I'm on a good day because she grinded down my shit, dude.
Do you know her Instagram? Can you give her an honorable mention?
Sorry.
Can we give her an honorable mention?
Oh yeah, I just did. Shout out to Sam in Sacramento.
Sam in Sacramento. Does she have an Instagram?
Yeah, she just changed it recently. It was like Slamma.
We'll get it from you.
We'll find her.
We'll run her credits.
Yeah. Oh, check it out. Okay, so what I love about roller skating is that one of the things I love about roller skating is how connected we are through the online social world. Mm-hmm. And so I, on my trip recently, was leaving Eureka. I was like, yo, I'm heading south. What up? And then she's like, hey, I follow you. My name is Sam. You should come to Sacramento. I have a mini ramp in my backyard. My partner's birthday. We're having a barbecue. Like, we have a safe place for you to park. But like all this shit. And I'm like, okay, I didn't plan on stopping. And then I had a weekend of just like rad, cool skater people hosting me. But like, they've been my friends forever. It was so
cool. I love that.
I love it.
Sam, that's so sweet.
I love that. But also, like, you do that to people. Like, people, you're a magnet. You're like a human magnet. Yes. Or like a human a light, and we're just like all these mosquitoes.
We're just like moths. We're like,
like you have that energy where like instantly you're like, yeah, I want you to live in my house. Like, that's fine. You can do that.
Did you ever do couch surfing, like couchsurfing.org? I knew it because or woof. Did you woof too?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh my god! Because you know what's funny is that like I couch surfed a lot when I was like fresh out of high school and college, and in college, and you are definitely a couch surfing person. Like you are the persona and the aura of couch surfing, and I think that's why I like you so much, because I was just like, whoa, I feel like I'm couch surfing again, but like it's couch surfing in the roller skate world, which is like two things that I love so much put together. It's just like magic. Dude, we should make okay, TM, copyright. We should make a couchsurfing.org, but for roller skaters.
For roller skaters.
With like a whole process.
That would be so fucking sick. That would be so sick, especially because, not gonna lie, in my couch surfing experience, specifically with that website, it's been people being like, hello, you are a woman traveling alone, therefore you probably want to have sex with me. And I've just been like, I want to roller skate. So if that part out and then added the roller skate part, boom, boom, boom.
You are a woman traveling alone, you want to roller skate with me. It's like, yes, I do.
Dude. Oh yeah,
this is how we make our big bucks.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would make money off of that. I don't think that's a profitable business model at all, but that's it.
Damn, we're really good at coming up with companies that will never bring us.
Yes, it's an incredible
entrepreneurs.
Skill.
What can I say?
Yeah, free entrepreneurs. Okay.
So far, hold on, I got a good one. So far in your travels with the van, with the skating, what has been like your, like, give us like your best experiences. Give us a couple of your worst if you have.
Yes.
Like this trip specifically, when I've been by myself, or like the last 2 years.
Whatever. 2 years. Let's give us the 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will say, so my travel mate it was 2019. We worked on a pot farm together, which is how I fund this shite. And so it was like winter, and we were like, look, like we're done working, let's head south, let's chase the sun. And so we like finally achieved freedom after hunkering down for a couple months. And winter, the sun sets early and it rains, apparently even in California. So it was this weird dynamic where we're finally like, yes, we're free. But then we're just like chasing parks, like, oh my God, maybe this one will have lights. And then we show up and it has lights and it's pouring down rain. And we're like, oh, we just want to skate, like, you know? So it became like an epic, even more of like the journey was just trying to find the fucking spot, you know?
Yeah.
And then I will say, I don't know, like most recently, in the last couple months, I feel very lucky to have been shown really special spots, like spots that aren't known to everyone, like just abandoned places or empty pools or DIYs that are like, you know, because those things can change when they become well known. And so I feel like people have trusted me and shown me these special spaces, and like just in the middle, just you wouldn't even know, in the middle of fucking nowhere or right off the highway where you're. There was one in a place in California. I will not out it, but that I had driven by that spot for work so many times, and then a skateboarder was like, hey, you know this DIY spot? And I'm like, right there behind the bushes, what the fuck, driven by that so many times. So I've been really like, I guess that's kind of vague, but just people's backyard spaces, empty pools, DIY, just people entrusting me with like these really special spaces.
Yes, and that's oh, sorry. That's something we were talking about when you were at my house too, of like the catch-22 of like special spaces, how it's like it's such a fine line between like exclusivity.
Yeah.
Is that a word? Yeah. Like being like, or gatekeeping, that's what we use. So like there's people have such a hard time deciphering between like gatekeeping and like protecting a space, you know, like what's the difference of, and we talked about like DIYs and how it's like, you know, if I put my heart, my soul, my resources, my money, my time, my energy into creating a spot, and then was like, okay, I only want the homies to skate it, and then someone's like, you're gatekeeping. And it's like, this is a special space. This is something that I made. But then we also had the conversation of like, there's no such thing as owning land. It's all bullshit. There's no such thing as fucking owning land. Man cannot land their own land. That's just not real. That's like something that Europeans made up. So it's like, it's hard. It's such a weird middle or like gray zone where it's like, yeah,
sure.
having a special spot that like only certain people know about. Like I hate I've talked about this before too. Like I fucking
weird.
hate when people are like, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? And it's like, I don't even know you. Why would I tell you where this is?
Yeah.
I don't want just weird, creepy people showing up at places that I like have special
or to like ruin, like you were saying, you are entrusted with knowing these spots.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like if someone's pretty cool about just like going, skating it, not bringing attention to it, because as soon as that happens, as soon as it gets burnt out,
Gets knocked
it
out.
gets knocked out,
Yeah.
and then nobody even gets to enjoy it. Like,
Yeah.
let's say you found it, like enjoy that for a little bit, because it's probably only going to be there for like a year or so, right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't need to tell anybody where I skate because I'm scared of you all.
Yes.
All of you.
All of you.
I'm scared of Brooks. Like,
Yeah.
I'm scared of everything. A lot of times, I weigh 95 pounds soaking wet. Like, I don't need a lot of random dudes knowing where I'm skating at. If it's a secluded area.
I know, especially like when people ask stuff on Instagram, like
a lot.
Yeah, in the comments, like, or especially like whether it's a DIY or not, if you ask me in a comment on a public profile where I'm skating all the time, it's just I'm gonna delete the comment. You know, I'm gonna delete it and I'm gonna message you if I do.
Unpopular opinion.
I'm gonna delete your comment because like I've had it where I didn't respond and then someone else responds and I'm like, cool, you don't skate here, but I do all the time. And now these people anyone on the internet can look at my page and be like, oh, this is her local, cool. If I want to fuck her up or if I want to know where,
steal her
whatever, if I want to steal identity. No, it's just like.
I will say that it is a good practice too of just like actively respecting a space, because you're not like there documenting it, you're literally just experiencing it. Because like one spot that I've got to go to, that it was literally a house like in a neighborhood that was for sale, and we were skating in the backyard, and it was like be quiet, like we were skating quiet, like and it was like no phones, because the outing, but why are you recording? So that you can share and tell other people. And obviously like you're excited, like I see things, I get so excited and I want to like imprint it in my brain and photos, videos, that. But also with the whole, like, I use the word entrusting pretty intentionally, because there's people who then entrust me, and then just like how secrets go, we know that it don't end. We know it don't, like eventually I'll be like, yo, you can't tell anyone, because and so then hopefully then it just trickles down to the people who actively show that they understand the unspoken rules of those spaces. And so if you just show that. And I don't know, like I went to a space recently that even actively had a sign that said like, please don't blow this up. And people posted videos of it, and that you're allowed to do what you want. But like you said, then those things get torn down, or then you show up and there's like 1,000 million people, and those people built that because they wanted to avoid the busy parks. And but like you said, where's the line? Because then there's gatekeeping. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're all maneuvering around like what. Honestly, if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. If I don't want to tell you where I'm skating for whatever reason, I don't have to do it. I understand the like, oh, it is such a gray area with the gatekeeping, but you can't tell a grown person what the fuck to do, or that you don't like it, because that's not my business. I don't care that you don't like it.
Yeah.
So I feel it both ways, because I'm a very like I don't give a fuck person, and then I'm also like, but I want people to have fun too. But if you were meant to be, like, you will get there eventually. If you
which that's what we talked about too at my house, of like, how people ask you like, how do you know all these spaces? And like just literally being nice to people, like being trustworthy, and like people
not being sketch, not being like burnt. A burnt human will burn a spot. Like
and it's just like I don't know if it's just like a house too. Like I'm not gonna invite some sketchy people into my house, and I'm not gonna like if I don't trust someone to be in my personal space, I'm not gonna be like giving them information about stuff that another space, like And obviously with you, and I think anyone who's been to a DIY spot, a lot of the time it's like you were just a chill dude at the skate park, and then another chill dude was like, yo, you should skate with us. You're so chill. We skate here all the time. Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm a chill dude. You're a chill dude. Why don't we be chill dudes at this backyard pool together? And like that's literally what happens.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I love
Chill dude.
Chill dad. Chill
For
dad.
sure, chill dude. But that's okay. That actually brings me into something I wanted to talk about. You're skating, you're like an ATV, which is what I aspire to be, like an all-terrain
skater.
Yes, where like you can skate literally anything, which I think, I mean, if someone can skate a skate park really well, that's cool, that's one thing. But for someone who can skate fucking anything and be good and look good and like be sick and be the chill dude.
Look how red my little cheeks are.
No, dude, Chandra, you really
are though
amazing. And we were talking about this right before you got on, like gassing you up.
Yeah.
It's not that you're like underrated. No one's like underrating you, because once people see you skate, it's like mind blowing.
Yeah, it's undeniable. You're so good.
And we're not just saying this because we like you. Like we like you, but also like your skating is so. I was telling Alyssa, I was telling our viewers that I've been really into watching people skate who can skate like really light, airy. I don't even know. I think lightweight, flowy. You skate hard. And I'm like, I didn't know I liked that. Like, I didn't know I was like you skate. I've never seen anyone skate like you.
Yeah, you do like
hard side.
Yeah, you do like that. And it's funny because you're such a gentle, like you are such a gentle person. You're very like nurturing and sweet and kind and compassionate. But then when you skate, you like do the fakey thing. You like slap your foot on the deck and then go. Like it's that's good.
I'm like, oh! Like I get like sweaty.
Sweaty. I'm like, ooh,
Dude, like I find a lot of inspiration from skateboarders, and they get to be so loud. I mean, to general, and at least that's the ones that I pay attention to. They're like, even like a rock to fakie, like a beginner trick. They're hitting the deck and going back, and I'm like, I want to be loud. I want to be like, hello, I'm here, and I don't know. I like it.
That's actually a funny and really accurate observation, I guess, because when I was skating with a lot of skateboarders when I first started skating, I was doing a lot of like rock to fakie, like very heavy, hard movements. Oh, I never connected that. That's a good point. And it's true. It's like taking up so much space, like in audio is space too. Yeah, it's really cool.
Because then you're like, what the fuck was that? Oh.
And it's like powerful. Yeah. It's super powerful.
And I mean, skating isn't just the movement. It's so much of its sound. Like all of it. I mean, right now, if I could hear sound, wheels on a pavement, I could be like, look out the window. Like, is that a skater? And it's not just the wheels. It's the power slides. It's the fucking grinding on the pool. It's the my smacks on the deck.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh, it really is like a multi-dimensional experience.
Amazing. Yeah, watching you skate at Morales was unreal. There was a bunch of heavy hitters there.
I know, that session at Morales was like humbling. I was like, wow, I need to leave and come back and leave again
tomorrow
and then
next year. Can I run this out for myself?
So good. And I felt like everybody was getting their time in, even if it meant like, oh, I'm gonna go every like 10th run, or fuck it, I'm gonna hit it every third. Like, I want to get some. I feel like everybody getting enough juice,
Oh yeah. And I feel like I get a lot of, like, I love just watching it. I can just sit there and watch you guys skate.
A voyeur.
Yeah. I mean, just like parks, this last few years that I've been like full-time park skating, like not like just doing that basically all the time. I've learned to appreciate the whole experience, and I don't have to be going for a run every time. Like, if I'm gonna be there all day, like half of it's sitting there and watching that homie try and get the trick, or just like listening, or bringing out the music or whatever. It's not, I don't have to be the physical aspect, like doing it the whole time. It's the whole encompassing experience,
Yeah. I love it. So what is your, I like this question, I want to keep asking it every episode. What is your thought process? Like either when you're learning a trick, or when you're going for something that's just like generally scary to you, something like, give me the breakdown. Like, What do we do?
Yeah. So I took a class at Moxie Skate Camp in 2018, I think it was. Yeah, 2018. And it was a mental toughness class.
With
And
Ezra?
yes.
Of course.
And he said some shit that blew my mind. And one of the big things that he said was that each trick, your fear is either there to protect you or it's lying to you. And the way you can figure out which is truth is by looking. Each trick is made up of all these like smaller tricks that build up to that thing. Yeah. So if you can look, for example, dropping in, like you're like, okay, I can pump up all the way. I feel comfortable with my foot touching the coping. Like if you can look at it and break down everything and you're still scared, then your fear's lying. But if you can, like, for example, look at a different trick and be like, that requires me being able to jump more than a foot. Like if you can look at it and not have the skill set, then your fear is actually like protecting you because you don't have abilities yet. So I do that. I really, truly, at least for myself, and everybody's different. Like I know a lot of skateboarders that do not operate. There's like send mentality.
Yeah.
They're here and they're like, I'm going to try this. And sometimes it like, the growth is so exponentially quick and it happens quick, but also there's casts involved sometimes. And, like I would rather, like, I really firmly believe in like, I just want to keep building and building and building. So like, I want my progression, even though part of me is like you were talking about this, Jay, with like your dream trick list. I do that too, where I'm like, yeah, like a fakie 540 over the keyhole. And then like, that's step 10. What are you doing?
Chill the fuck out.
But like real time though, when I'm actually at the skate park and looking, trying to like, I want to progress, but only at that next step. And so I just think of like, okay, what's the next bit? And so that could even be, okay, I can do this trick on a 4-foot ramp, so I'm gonna try it on the 6-foot. Yeah. Versus like I'm gonna try. Now it's like, okay, like add up and build. And so yeah, can I do that? I'm like, is this fear real or is it a liar?
I've never ever thought about that like distinction between the fear, because I'm like, fear is fear.
Yeah.
I'm just scared. Like I'm a scared human. But like that thought process, because I feel like I do that all the time where I'm like, as soon as I unlocked like backsides, I was like, oh, okay, hell yeah, I'm gonna start trying to backside slide because I have that building block. Yeah. So it gives me that little bit of confidence that at least I know how to get out of it, how to save myself, all that stuff. Like once you have those tools, I feel like you're just like, okay, let's like push it. Let's push it. Yeah. But I love that. I'm gonna use that from now on.
I mean, that's what I feel like. I do that without even realizing it. Where I'm like, okay, can I really? I feel like you do.
No, I'm just like, no, scared.
Oh, okay. You mean the fear as a tool? Yeah.
Yeah, like using it as like a let's break it down, as opposed to just like fear being a one thing. Like fear is scary. Yes, of course, but it's also, it serves a purpose.
Yeah, I think like absolutely. I think I do that because I've been so broken and have gotten so hurt that like you kind of have to, coming back, like you have to find a way to rationalize with yourself. Like yesterday I taught a lesson with this woman who's 58 years old. I was like, bitch, yes. Yeah. I know, it was amazing. And she was like, I got there and she like was kind of crying and she was like, I'm sorry, I'm just so like emotional, I don't know why I'm crying, I have so much fear, and I'm like, I've jumped out of an airplane before, why am I scared of this? And I was like, fear is 90% of skating a lot of the time. Like I have cried so many times because of skating, because of fear, because of like my brain being like, no, you're gonna die. And then I'm like, bitch, I know I can do this. Like, or just being in the weird middle zone where you're like, can I do this? I don't know. I can't tell. Is this within my reach?
Yeah.
Probably because I'm like an underseller for myself. I know a lot of people aren't that way, but for me, I always assume I can't do things rather than assuming that I can. But yeah, and it was weird to talk to someone else about the fear thing because I can't rationalize it always with myself. I think I'm getting better at it the older I get and the more time on wheels I have, where I'm like, just like you said with like, okay, I know I can drop in on 6 feet, so I can drop in on 8 feet. And then when I get to 8 feet, I'm like, okay, well, I know I can drop in on 8 feet comfortably. I can drop in on Estro's vert ramp. Like, because
I
I've
was gonna
done
say
this.
9
Yeah.
or 10. I was still gonna go for a couple more feet.
And it's like or if it's like rails or jumping on
Yeah.
stuff, it's just it's such a weird. Brains are so dumb.
They're so dumb because, and I feel like a really good proof of this, for at least for me and my personal experience, is like I'll want to land a trick. Most of the tricks that I've successfully like gotten within the last like year have been because I force Alyssa or one of my friends to stand there and do this with their arm. I'm putting my Spotify listeners, I'm putting my arm out
like a bar, like an arm bar.
Yeah. And I'll have them stand there, even if I know I can land it, but I'm still scared.
Yeah.
I'll have them stand there just because it feel like a fail safe.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and I want to get out of that. I really do want to get out of that.
I use that too though. Like I'll be like, Greg, can you stay right there? I gotta try something. And then it's like,
and you didn't even need them. Like it was just a little
I know. And it's like I'll even do that with like lessons usually, like pre-pandemic time of like, oh, here's my arm if you need it. Like you know I'm here, you don't have to use it. And then it can even be anyways, that's a deep rabbit hole. But yes.
That is another trick is like trying, but sometimes it's not possible, but trying to find like what is the half step. So if step 1 is not doing it and step 2 is doing it, how can I find the 0.5? And sometimes there isn't, and that's when the fear, like for example, like dropping it, it's like cool, you can try and do it on a bank a million times, but when it really comes down to it, there's no half step. For things that there are half step, I think like, okay, I'm going to do it where there's no coping, or do it with my friend with an arm holding me or whatever. Like if we can find the half step to just get to that place where like, fuck, this is possible. Like I am capable. And then also I think like that fear so intense that you are like crying and you're just like, I don't even like this. Yeah. But when you do it, dude, that's the shit we live for. Like then you're like, I'm a god and I can do anything. Until the next one comes up and you're like, oh, not that though.
I'm not a god. Not a god.
But
human, mortal.
Oh.
Yeah, that is the moment. Like I don't think I've ever experienced the kind of joy that you get from like landing, even if it's not something impressive, fuck it. Like if it's just like fakie stalls have been the fucking devil for me from the moment I started skating until finally like maybe 4 months ago they just like happened and I was like,
and they're like perfect now too. This bitch is like doing fakie slides and I'm like,
Chandra, I love that. I sent Chandra, or Chandra saw it and said something about it and I was like, you next, and it just became like this like little chain that happened. I loved it.
I saw that was so cute.
Yeah, it's so fun. So sketchy, right though?
Dude, okay, so I think I might have had backside stalls before I had fakie stalls, and I hated it. I hated them because when people are first learning and they're pumping a ramp, how your 1 foot will clip, and they're just like, they're just like, whatever. I was like, death. When I would come a forward stall, I would scrub my speed hella because I'm like, I don't want that. I can't see that shit. I don't want touching. And then a friend was like, you know what you do? You look right between your legs. And I was like, that's too simple. That won't work. Bitch.
Boom.
It works. If you have enough speed, you trust. Because when you're first forward stalling, you kind of hump to get up on top of the coping. Your legs, it's like a fakie hump. And it gets your...
Can we title this episode Fakie Hump? No, but that is so true because as soon as I forgot who Miguel Camina on
happy
Instagram.
birthday, happy late birthday.
We'll tag him in here. But he told me the same thing. He's like, once you get to that point where you're coming backwards, stop looking behind your shoulder, look down, and you'll see that.
Boom.
And boom.
Fuck. And it's so scary, and you're like, I don't want to. That's not where I look. But then and then it works.
Yeah.
So yes, and also my fakie stalls, I don't know how to basically like not do them disaster style. Like I lift up really high and do it because for so long I was like, I don't want to just clip and then fall in and die. So I like to overcompensate. I'm like making sure I'm landing. Like
Wait, yours really are so pronounced and like so. You know what your fakie stalls are? Your fakie stalls are a woman in a two-piece suit. Like they're just they're so
Yeah,
powerful.
they
And
really are.
they're like, I'm here. I'm fucking here. I'm the boss. Like yes, I imagine. What's that?
That's me to the coping. I'm like, I'm here, okay? You're not gonna sneak up on me.
Not again.
Yeah.
Don't do this to
my
me.
God. Yeah, no, I strive for that level of. You know what? Your fakie stalls are disaster style, and my fakie stalls are just a disaster. So
no, yours are good.
no, mine are fine. When I have to put like 10 years of thought into just one of them though, where I'm like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Okay, are you sure? Oh, yeah. Okay. And I do it. It looks totally fine. And
that's me 180 going back in.
Really?
Like, okay, we're turning, we're going, and that's not how you. Tricks are not meant to have all that hesitation and thought, but that's me 180 back in for sure.
I'm not a big fan of 180ing back in either. I guess I'm just not a fan of things, but yeah, I feel that. What's your favorite like tricks?
I really people call them rock to fakies, but I really love like those deck slaps. I really like variations of like coming up slapping, coming up fakie and forward slapping.
Yeah, you did like a half cab slap.
Yeah, just anything where my ankle's just like you're like, is that broken? I'm like, yeah, put it back in. I really like I don't anything that incorporates my hands too, and not necessarily like hand plants or like aerials with my hands, but I just really like, even if I'm jumping over a hip, just like touching the corner of the hip as I go. These aren't like, I'm not saying like a specific trick. I'm just, I guess, describing the things.
No, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Anything too, like coming back to like that aggressive, like where you can incorporate like a kick where I'm like, there's a wall there. Let's do something with that. Like, I don't know.
So, okay. On that question, I feel like I fangirl too hard for you because I'm like, you do like so many of the things that you do are not, I don't know if I think we talked about this too, where just people kind of do the same thing over and over and over. Like everyone does the same thing. I think we've talked about that too, where it's just like you go on Instagram and you see the same video from 10 different people.
Or you see your video and your exact line
being completely remade or copied.
That's neither here nor there.
Where is it?
It's at Credddddd. That's where it is. But anyways, so no, but it's just funny. Like, I don't know. I think that, and maybe it's just that our community is still in such a like an adolescent phase. We're still such a young sport community, hobby, whatever you want to call us. That it's like, you know, we're still learning the basics, a lot of us, and so maybe that's where. I don't know, but there's a way to be creative even when you're new, and I think it's really cool that you are like one of the best skaters that I know, and that I've had the pleasure of skating with, but you're so creative that like you don't just do this, like even though you do have your signature like the slappy thing or the whatever, like it's not like that's the only thing you're doing, and you're just finding a way to use the space that you're in wherever you go, and you go to such like diverse or just distinct, weird, crusty, whatever spots, and are able to like do these creative things. Like I don't even know how, like what are some of your favorites, or like what encourages this?
Okay, so I legit in my head, and I tell this to people too, is I'm like, and I said this at the beginning, coming from roller derby where there are rules and is a way to do it well, and because points and there's rules, there are no rules, and I think that people are coming into it with like inspiration through social media, which is really cool, except thinking that there is like, oh, this is the exact way that I'm supposed to pump, this is the exact way I'm supposed to do a Maryland stall, I grab the front wheel, like, you know, but but if you it's hard, because especially if you're like learning and you are getting inspiration, but I don't know, to just be with people or with yourself in a place where you feel comfortable being really silly and playing, because like legit, me and my old skate friend Jenny, like we would skate with our shoes on the curb, and we had so much fun we looked like wackos, but we were just like with our vans, like doing, oh man, I did it 50-50, like, and, you know, had so much fun. And, you know, I just think of if you had an empty parking lot with a rock, like that rock is all of a sudden going to become, there's no rules. Like, guess what, rock? I'm going to jump on you. I'm going to kick you.
I'm gonna kick that rock.
So I just think, I'm like, dude, there's no rules. There's no fucking rules. And it's fun and it's silly. And so if you, it kind of bums me out to see things be more boxed of like, I even think this when, of course, we've talked about this, Alyssa, and especially as you are like teaching newer people, that to not necessarily say that's wrong. Cause you know, for example, when I go forward, my right foot's the lead. And then when I go fake, right foot switches back. And when I first, somebody's like, you're not supposed to do that. And I was like, oh, but there's no like president or rules or like nobody governing, telling me what to do. So my body wants to do that, so I'm going to do it. Yeah. But then they explain, well, just be careful because you could clip. And I was like, okay, I have a reason. So there's things like, for example, sliding, like I slide to the right and my right foot touches. But some people, when they go to the right, lefty touches first and then they slide. And instead of being like, that's wrong, being like, well, there's no rules. I will say it kind of makes sense for that one to go first because all your momentum. But fuck, if that's working for you, boo. The motto is like, there's no fucking rules.
There are no rules. But I love that.
And I just find myself, if you can't tell by my lifestyle, I get very understimulated. So I'm like, gotta do stuff, go places. And so I have the privilege of skating so many different parks, and that helps me, I feel like, stay creative. But also I'll just, when I do get comfortable, I've been posted up at places like, I even was feeling this at Linda Vista. I was there for like a week and I'm like, I know this park now. But I would just stare. I just will sometimes just stare at a space and just stare and then be like, oh, like there's this things that people don't use or look at. Or watching like local skateboarders, like they'll some people do shit that I'm like, I never saw that as a thing you could do something on.
Yes, absolutely.
A little anything that you're just like, oh my god, that dude did a tail stall on that. I can try and do that. You know, I never saw that thing before.
You know what's wild is so Greg, my partner, shouts out Greg. He Greg. He doesn't skate parks, and like he's been skating for
only Brian Aragon Skate Park.
Oh, only Brian Aragon Skate Park, as he calls it, which is not actually Brian Aragon Skate Park, but
quarter ramp at Hooten, which I went to and I saw it.
Oh, at the little quarter pipe.
Yeah, didn't you tell me that's like the only thing he skates when he goes there?
The only thing he skates, no, at Houghton, I don't even know what he skates at Houghton, but at Volcom, the only thing he'll skate is that really shitty little, it's like a quarter pipe that's only like 2 feet tall, but it's like all vert.
It's vert.
And it's like the only thing he'll skate. It's actually probably like 3 feet tall, and he'll just like, he'll skip the transition and go straight to the cope. Like he's the strangest human being on the planet. But he never really skated skate parks growing up because he's a blader, and like he was like rollerblading or inline skating at a time where like that you would get a board thrown at you all the time if you walk into a skate park. So what happened in reaction is that all these aggressive inline skaters just got really fucking good at street skating, and because they couldn't go to the skate park.
It's too much.
So like, and it's just like, that's why they can do the most insane shit. But now when Greg goes to the skate park, he just is so creative. He's like the most creative person I know when it comes to using a space in like unconventional ways, or like in really creative ways, where like he'll go to the spot that we skated all the time. And that park's been there for like a long time. It's really old. It was one of the like 90s shitty poured concrete parks. And he'll go there and use like a ledge that I didn't even see existed because it's like hidden in another obstacle.
Because it's waist high and I'm not gonna get on that ledge.
Yeah, and he'll just like he's so good at using spaces in creative ways, and that's something that I'm really excited for the roller skating community, and like something that I've been trying to work on too. Like so like I'll go to a park and be like, okay, what's the first thing I want to do? And it'll be the easiest thing that I'm used to, that I'm safe with. And then I'll be like, okay, can't touch that, gotta go somewhere else. Like, And even with like dating Greg, he films a lot, and so like this weekend we went to the Bay, and we went to a lot of like weird street spots that usually I'd be like, well, I can't do anything here. When I can't jump shoulder high like you, like meh. And now it's like it's a fun challenge of like, okay, how can I use this space? What can I do? Because you can do something anywhere, just like you said, even if it's just a fucking rock in a parking lot. That rock, ya bitch now, you know, like it's time to make that rock a superstar and make me a superstar on the rock. So, yeah, it's so fun.
The thing is, parks, like well-built skate parks, which let's be honest, SoCal has a lot of them, are built. They are meant for you to be successful. They are built for. They're meant for you to skate. They're like guiding you to do well, basically things or whatever. But the street is not meant for you to skate it, and so the challenge. If you become a good street skater or like an actual pool skater, then when you do go to these places, like you're talking about your partner, it's just like you're like, oh, okay, this wants me to do it. Like it helps me in a way, and also then your feet are so much more felt. That even makes sense, but
they have brains in them.
Words are hard. Where, okay, for example, we're like, okay, I can backslide on this. Now I'm going to build it to here. Now I'm building it to this. Then the things you've done a million times, like for example, like backsides to me are very comfortable. Then I'm like, oh, Jersey barrier, what up? If I could find a way to successfully do the trick that I've already done a million times, a slide or a backslide or whatever, all of a sudden it becomes like a new trick again. And like those juices flowing, you're like, oh my God, I've said juice like 5 times this episode. It's just so appropriate for the feeling
Everyone
of like,
drink when you hear the word juice, please. Whatever you want to drink.
I start over. I'm just kidding. But yeah, where all of a sudden you're it's new again. It's not necessarily the actual movement that you did. Like you're like, oh, I slide to the right all the time. But you're like, yeah, but I did it on this thing that was not meant for, like a chain. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Greg and chains. Yeah.
You did it too.
But I agree. Actually, yes. Even with chains, like I had like one clip like 2 baby clips or 3 baby clips in Street Fighters, and one of them was just like stalling a chain, which I didn't think was that cool, but then Greg was like, that's pretty sick. And I was like, what? Really? It's just a stall. Like it's literally just like a stall.
Because
and he's
it's
like,
creative.
Because it's on a chain. Like it's on a fucking chain, Alyssa. And I was
Give
like,
yourself credit, Alyssa.
Well, he's my coach, so it's probably his credit. But it's just like the fact that like you're so right, where just taking something, and Greg calls skate parks training. He has so many weird names for things. He calls it like training facilities, where he's like,
Greg on your podcast.
Well, okay.
Season finale.
The thing with Greg is that I think that anyone who's met him probably doesn't think he even speaks English or like speaks at all. But this man talks my ear off constantly, and I wish that I could just like secretly record all of the outlandish things that he tells me and just put a podcast episode together. But
I didn't mean to turn. It's just like he sounds like a really creative, inspiring skater, and your coach.
No, he is. And your coach.
And he's my coach. No, that would be really funny though. Oh my God, we should ask him. But anyways, for another time. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so he calls skate parks just like training grounds, because he's like, it's like if you can do a trick at the skate park, it's like people who lift weights for no reason other than just like lifting weights, like, okay, great. So you can lift a bunch of weight, like you can lift up this bar with these thingies in this one facility, but like, is it practical outside of that place?
Yeah, when you don't have a spotter, or when it's not perfectly shaped concrete.
Or if,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
Again,
so it's like, and it's really cool to see the difference too, where like ever since he told me that, I have started thinking of skate parks like a training facility, because just like you said, the conditions are perfect. They're made for you to succeed. At least a lot of like a well-built skate park, like you said. But, and then I see, it's interesting because I see, and like no shade at all to anyone like this, but it's like, someone can do this trick, that trick, this trick on this perfectly smooth wooden half pipe in their backyard. Like, what if you went anywhere else? Like, what if you I don't know. It's just so.
We do this with Carruthers.
I know, but like, for example, I'll like practice rail slides, and I think we were talking about this with there was like an abandoned. It's kind of like a Boomers, but it's not. Or you didn't know what Boomers was. It's like a
golf,
fun
mini golf,
and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, but you're sick at it. Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, and it was like it was cool because there was like such an easy transition from like, oh, well, I've done this rail slide on something comparable to this a million times. Why not do it on this giant light pole that fell over and is now on the floor? Like, might as well. Like, so it's cool being able to see, you know, the conventional skate park practice turned into like street in the wild. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see us kind of take off from where we like the collective is of, you know, we're just learning, getting used to it, feeling it out in this like very controlled environment, and you know, crunchy, gross, weird stuff being skated is awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I look forward to in the future of quad skating, is that us taking it to the streets, and also it's more challenging, but you see the world. Like, I've dated skateboarders who are just like, whoa, like when we're driving down the city, I'm just like, curb, like cone, whatever, and they're just like, whoa, that bank that went to the curb, and I'm like, like you start to see like the world, the city as your playground potentially, and you can't not be creative if that's how you're looking at it. And this element of like, okay, like, well, we might get kicked out, or like, oh shit, like if I land wrong, I'll land in the bushes or in the street, or like it just so many more elements of like, ooh, you know,
very Tony Hawk American Wasteland of us to be going out there.
Toby Honk. No, absolutely. Even with like Greg, that's how he is too. Of just like everything is an obstacle that you can skate and use, and it's really, it's cool. I'm still working on it. I'm like.
For sure.
I'm still growing my imagination when it comes to spots and whatnot. I really want to see like an edit of like you with crunchy pools.
Ooh, or just like an ASMR video, just like a continuous grind.
Dude.
So it's like one continuous slide / grind.
Okay, so that would be so sick. The thing, okay, I really like skating, obviously, but I'm not very tech smart, which we already talked about, and I'm just not, and I'm not going to be like, I don't ever record or get clips. Like, I totally do, but more often than not, I just find myself wanting to skate, and so unless somebody asks me, or it's something that I'm actually really excited about, I just, my dream was just to have like a travel mate who is like, man, I just really want to make edits of you skating, and be like, cool, because I just want to skate. Like, what I recently got to do a little loop with my we call each other like my doubles partner, Gabe, and he loves making edits, and we do a lot of like doubles together. My friend Jake, he's a BMXer who also loves making edits, and so like I've had like little inches of that, but as far as like all the time, I'm just like, can there just be like a person who just wants to do this cool edit of me? But
seriously, right? It's so much harder than the actual skating part. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it.
The cool music that goes with it, and but really quick, I want to jump back to what we were talking about with street stuff. That I think, and compared to roller derby, because that is my comparison, is that there is no, something I love about aggressive quad skating is that there is no end. There's no like, oh, I've mastered this now, so I'm done. You know, like there's just, it's forever building, because parks are always changing. They're changing literally, but how you can interact with them. The world is always changing, your skills, and it's never, as long as our bodies are able, like we can just keep going. And I think that's really cool.
It's infinite. Absolutely.
It really is. Yeah.
I think of that too. I think, we were talking about this in my kitchen too, of like how when I first started learning skate parks, I thought I was the shit. I was like, yeah, I know how to drop in. Like, I just thought I was the sickest bitch on the block. Yeah. And now I'm like 4 years in, I will never say I'm good. I will never say that I'm like a skilled skater, because I feel like I've only gotten more aware of how infinite
Yeah.
it is and how boundless it is, and like there's no taming this beast, and it's amazing in the best way possible, because it's like, I mean, obviously if you're someone who needs to, like, I don't know, dominate things in a way, like it's maybe humbling in a way that you might not like, but for me it's forced me to feel like excited by everything I haven't done.
Same, dude. And also, okay, so everything, we understand the world by comparison, and we can do that with our skating or with anything. We can compare ourselves up to make ourselves feel better, or we can compare ourselves down, which you could argue that maybe we just shouldn't compare to people.
Yeah.
But with roller skating, something that I fucking have loved from like day one, not with roller skating in the way that we're talking about it in like the park world, is that there is no linear comparison. Like there are people where I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you go down that rail? And then they're like, yeah, but like fakey air, what? And I'm like, what? Like, you know, I can do their like, I'm like, that's easy to me, but what are you doing? And they're like, no, what are you doing? And it's just like you and I, when we got to skate at Malibu, I was like, is that a rail? And you're like, yes, look, a rail. And I was just like,
like, yes, I was so like weirdly happy, or like not even happy, but like yeah, I was a little bit ecstatic. I was like, oh my god, you're a human. You are a human and not a cyborg. I mean, not that I would judge if you were a cyborg, but like I'm glad that like it was so funny, because I just think you're so fucking good, and there are a lot of people who just try and skip the foundations of skating and go straight to tricks, but with you, like, you're what's the word, like, you're so substantial and then some at skating in general, that like even your fucking like like hockey stops that you do just casually, I'm like, bitch, you will not catch me doing that. And it's so like you do it so casually, like you do it with your eyes closed, and it's like everything your movement on skates is just so mind-blowing to me, that when I was like, oh, this is the perfect practice rail, and you're like, oh, a rail, and I'm like, a rail? And then we go, and I was just like, what? You have to walk yourself through this at this, like, I was not expecting that at all. Not that I want to see you struggle, but it's like, it's just like you said, it's not linear at all. Like, I see you doing your crazy, I know, I love it so much. Like, there's so many, I could go on for hours about tricks that I think are easy or that I think are hard, and other people think the complete opposite. Like, it's really cool. It's so cool, because everyone's body, I feel like, you know, each person has their own instincts and their own, what feels good to me, it might not feel good to you in so many ways, that it's so cool to see that kind of culminate in skating, where it's like, you know, I don't really like to turn, I don't know, it could be so many things, where it's just no two people are exactly the same, and not everyone's gonna be the same, period. There's gonna be variety forever, and like you can't compare yourself to other people, because we're so different and our bodies move so differently.
When I first started skating, I really struggled, coming from a background of roller skating where it's like there are skills that you check off and then you move up to the next level, and there's an exact bit. I was like, oh, like, where's the guidebook? Like, I need trick number 1 is do a Maryland salt. Trick number 2, what's the next one? Like, I felt really frustrated that there wasn't like a guide to tell you exactly the rules of which trick. Oh, so you can Maryland stall, now you can do this. When then eventually just being like, you know, doing what feels right, and then understanding that they just like I first started skating, my friend Bratney, we did roller derby together, and she was always like ahead, and it got me juiced, but I remember being like kind of like scared and like frustrated, because it got me juiced. I kept falling behind her, but I remember seeing a video with her, she like jumped up and like kicked a fence, and this was within a couple months of us skating, and doing a ho-ho and like an air over the spine, and I was like, oh, so now I gotta try that. Okay, so cool. Like but then, like, as we continued growing, I remember me doing, I don't remember what it was, but I did something where she's like, oh, that's so scary. And I'm like, I do something to scare you. Like, there's not like I was kind of following her in my head as like, okay, she's setting the rules of like, after this trick you learn that trick, after this trick you learn that trick, and it's just not that way, and I love that.
Yeah,
So
I love that. I love that so much, especially because you're like, even if you just came out with an edit of you, why don't I have words? Carving, like even just that, just because of how you skate, like your style makes that look like a trick in itself. Like makes that entire thing just
Truly.
look like something that, like, okay, now I want to do that. And I feel like same thing with like the foot slap and like the fakey air, like disaster style, like all of that stuff that people aren't maybe doing because they're like, well, I haven't mastered like a rail yet. Like I can't really move on to this crazy other thing. It's like, yeah, you can. And now that you saw someone do it, maybe you can then like figure it out, screen record their video, try to see how to do it, add your style to it, or feel free to just be stylish in yourself. If you're like, oh, that looks silly, it's like, no, do it. That might feel silly to you, but if it's your thing, do it. Like, don't
doing your
try
own
to
thing.
look like everybody else.
No rules.
Yeah, no rules. That's like your ultimate slogan, no rules in roller skating.
There's no crying in baseball, there's no rules in roller skating.
I am gonna pee really quickly.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be our little commercial break.
Jealous.
From the people who brought you spring water, we now have, oh, I wish it wasn't so glary.
Oh, no, but it matches the background. Wait, are we still recording though?
We are. No, we're recording. We'll edit this out.
So is liquid Dutch's water? I don't understand.
It is water.
Okay.
So I'm sober. I'm 100% sober, and because I'm new in sobriety, yeah, it's like a fucking tall boy. So when I go places to like gatherings, which I obviously don't go to a lot, but like anytime I'm in a group of people and people are drinking, I'll always try to have liquid death because then no one looks at me different. I'm not just drinking a soda.
I did because I did like a year. I wanted to do a year sobriety, and I would do a koozie just to, cause then you're like, I have a drink. You can assume that it is an alcoholic one, but you are assuming wrong.
Yeah,
and
I don't like to get into the conversation with like, if it's like a random person that I'm just like seeing for that moment, I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, sorry, I don't.
It's like, it's one of those things. It's like, hey, what does your tattoo mean? And you're like, do you want to become my lover right now? Like, what? Do you have 2 hours? Like, whoa.
Is this us right now? Is this you and me?
Oh, I had a problem. And you're just like, oh, okay, well, rewind. It's just such a loaded, like, oh, you don't drink? Tell me everything. And you're just like,
why?
Like, people people just say stuff. Oh, they died how? And you're just like, okay. You know, you're like, why do we ask these really silly questions? I'm gonna put a koozie on it.
I think we said this too about like roller skating injuries, which is perfect because I can Alyssa coming back, where it's like, don't ask me how it happened, ask me if I'm okay.
Yeah, it doesn't change. Are you wearing your elbow? People who can't see, I'm flipping off.
Wait, what?
Oh, so okay. So I brought up, I guess we'll keep this in because there might be some sober listeners that'll enjoy this. I brought up that I'm drinking liquid death, and then Chandra was like, what's the deal with liquid death? And I was like, well, for me personally, it just makes me feel like I'm drinking a beer, even though I'm just hydrating myself. And going into like, if people see you at a party and you don't have like a beer in your hand and someone's like not, you know, socially aware of things and they're just like, why not? Why don't you want to drink? Huh? What's good? You got a problem with it?
Yeah.
Ruin your life? Yeah. So sometimes it's like, why do you feel the need to ask me these questions or feel like I need to answer those questions? Same thing with like roller skating injuries. People are like, what? You weren't even wearing a helmet? How did it happen? Was it because you weren't wearing a helmet?
We were talking about that in the car.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying that like people are quick to ask you like, how did it happen? Not how are you doing? Or like,
yes. Oh my God. Yes. I wish that this podcast could have, or like we could have been recording during this conversation that we had in the car coming back from. So Chandra was in town here in Long Beach, California area, and we got to have like a mega session when Oe was in town, and a lot of local friends are like close friends. But on the way home, it was like me and Oe and Jay and Chandra, and we were talking about, sorry, I'm putting deodorant on as we speak. because I didn't today, and it's already like 7 p.m. So the damage is done already. I'm just kind of.
I've only been sitting in it for an hour.
Yeah. Smells
Dude,
fine, I guess.
don't type on.
But anyways, yeah. So we were in the car, and like Owie had catching lizards. We were talking about how Owie had a head injury. Where she had to get staples in her head, and then I had my chin that got busted open, and we were just talking about like physical trauma when you get hurt in skating, and like people always want to know like, oh my god, what happened? And it's like, do you really think I want to like relive this physically traumatizing thing that just happened to me where I saw the inside of my body on the outside? Like, why would I want to remember the feeling of like blood coming down and gushing out of my face? Like,
I'm getting nauseous.
Exactly. Sorry.
No, you're okay. I'm like, what?
It's not like I'm like, oh, I hear now what you said, and so now I'm never going to go down a bank again because that's cursed. Or now, so either I feel bad for you or I don't feel bad for you. It's like there's nothing to be gained from knowing the details, you know?
Yeah. And if I want to share the details, again, I will share the details. And if you're bummed that I didn't, that's none of my business.
Yeah. It's like a weird, it comes back to, I think we talked about this too. It's like a weird thing with entitlement where people feel like entitled to any and all information about you and your life and your spots, your body, your injuries, everything. Like it's really weird that, I don't know, maybe it's a boundary issue that a lot of like the internet has brought on where people just don't have boundaries anymore because everything's so out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think it's like people's way of we want to understand things, and we don't like to just leave things like unanswered. Like we're just like, you know, people they're like, are you I need to know the details, like I need to be filled in. You're like, no, I'm just gonna give you this one piece of information. I got hurt. That's the information. And they're like, I need all the information so I can understand it. And it's like, you can just understand it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to know it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's honestly, it's don't worry about it. Like, stop filling your head with all this unnecessary shit. My injury is not going to do you any good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's too like we both talked about this as well, is like trying to be like, oh, I need to know what to be like cautious of. But I've seen like the worst break ever on somebody just on a little rope, they backwards, bones sticking out, shit like that, you know? And, you know, I was just having a good old time, 180 back in, and then was like, I was here, and then I was there. There's no like rhyme or reason.
No.
So, I want to be like, so you were doing a 540 flip McGee over a freeway, and you're just like, no, there was a rock.
It's always a rock.
No, if there's no like rhyme or reason of how to be like, okay, how do I avoid this happening to me? Because it just can happen.
Yes.
And then also think about the fact that, like, at least I feel like I can speak for us. If, let's say that it's a thing that I got injured because of a product failure, but like hardware failure, something that hurt people. Let's go back to Impala having like crooked ass skates and people were just breaking themselves off, right? If it's something like that and I know that, then I feel like I have a little personal responsibility. Hey guys, like, be wary of this situation. Same thing with wide trucks coming out of the pivot cups. Hey, not like this is super, super, super common, but it is. This will happen. Just keep your eyes peeled just to avoid that possible injury. Like things like that. Obviously, I would like to give that information, but if it's like, oh no, I was stupid as fuck and didn't see that,
or
crack.
like it. Yeah, absolutely. Like when I hit my chin, everyone was like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And I just would answer like gravity, because I'm like, I don't need to give you a play-by-play of what happened because it was something so anticlimactic, you know? It was like it was just a weird fluke, and that's all that happened. Like sometimes that's the answer. And I feel like, just like you said, people want like this crazy answer that's gonna like assure them that it won't happen to them. Or
for sure.
And I don't want to say that it's, I don't know, maybe it's a primal thing where it's primal. No, maybe it's a primal thing where it's like, must know I'm safe. Ooh. Like, I don't know. And they're just like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to do 540 backflip McGee over the freeway because, you know, Chandra's elbow popped out from that, you know? Like,
That's all that happened.
yeah.
Oh,
so
God.
it's, yeah.
Sounds like you landed it to me.
Yeah, I think you landed it.
Oh God, so weird when you deal with people and their thingies.
I know, and I think that it's like, I don't think that people are even, I don't think it's malicious.
No.
So militia.
Militia. That's your dirty name.
That's, oh no.
Militia. Instead of Melissa, it's militia.
She's militia. Oh my God. Sorry. Realizations.
Oh, I hate it.
But yeah, no, it's so silly. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't think also like pleasantry, like autopilot, like, hi, how are you? What happened? You know, it's like it's like aren't thinking.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, maybe that is what it is, where it's just like people feel like they have to say that. I don't know.
Like, happened, why? And you're just like, what? Yeah, I had a friend recently in San Diego, my friend Sam. I'm just shouting out everybody all the time. I have a lot of friends. Hey, I'm gonna tell you all of them. Just kidding. But my friend Sam, we were skating, and she's like, dude, I don't understand. You like, how do you like not get hurt? And I was like, well, first of all, shut up. Don't be jinxing that shit.
Yeah.
But second of all, I'm like, I feel like I'm like kind of a little bit hurt all the time. Like my tailbone forever, my fucking hands, like my little pinky toe, I swear, is broken. Like there's little stuff that just, you know, just on the notes of injury, we think of like injury, like big kid, like surgery, casty. I mean, we eventually we pay our dues and whatever that looks like. But I'm like, girl, and I wonder, I'm curious if this is more common with like a lot of people, or if I'm more in a minority. I wonder, I'm like, is everybody just always kind of have little owies all the time? I feel like that's the norm.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to like to not pretend that to not pretend that you don't. What am I saying? I think it's okay to like just be like, yeah, I'm just fucking perpetually hurt, and that's kind of the name of the game. Like, unless you're not even. I was gonna say, unless you're cruising down the beach path only, but like even then you get hurt. So like, you just. I think you really have to love doing this.
Oh yeah, I always think I think of that a lot too with people that I'm not that I don't like that, you know, roller skating has blown up in the past year, but like the people who just came into the community with like not even into the community because they're not even in like our community, but just like into roller skating, wanting to take more than they want to give, and like I get flustered about like, I don't know, outside people with bad intentions coming in and like mining our fucking hobby and community for their own good. But then I remember like I have gotten physically harmed in so many ways because of roller skating, and it's like I don't think anyone would stick with this for long if they didn't love it. Like I can't imagine coming back to my roller skates after dislocated shoulders, concussions, chipped teeth, busted chin, I already said dislocated shoulder, broken bones, 2 surgeries, like continue.
Oh!
I know, and it's just like, you know, I don't think it's such a it's a lot of blood. Just like you said, everyone pays eventually at some point, whether it's a bunch of small ones over time or some big ones. But I feel you on that too. Like my left knee has been weird for months. Like that's just weird little baby injuries all the time.
My right one's fucked. We should just stick ourselves to each other.
If we
potato
cut
sack race like style.
I can get a race where you put your in the thing, but with roller skating. Wait, does that make sense? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know, you do the middle, but with roller skating.
Yes.
So it's like
next time you come through, let's like find an open parking lot and let's potato sack roller skate race.
Yes.
Our couch surf roller skating. That's what we're gonna do to host them. Boom, bonding act.
Wow.
Look at us.
Well,
oh my god, such entrepreneurs.
I was gonna say, since we are the board of directors, that's our team building.
This is actually just a shareholders meeting. I hope you've been trimming a lot of weed.
You to all really quick back to injury stuff. I want to say, with roller skating and like anybody who does this aggressive shit that we do, it's kind of a way, like the injury part, the pain part, or the risk of it is kind of a way to differentiate. Like you said, you truly love it, because when it hurt, like normies, the what is it called in Harry Potter, the the muggles of the world are like, oh, so you're done with that now, and you're like, no, I can't wait to get this thing off so I can do it again.
Yeah,
you know. And then other people get that, like people who do in this world are like, if you're in a cast, you can skate. Like there's things like that with like, people who it's just like either you just have to get to a place where you're like, you don't get it, and then people who do get it are just like, yeah, an injury is just a part of it, and that's okay. It's the risk you take to do this thing that brings us like a stupid amount of joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I wanted to ask you, so what are your plans going forward? What's in the future for Chandra?
Well, my future planning is never really more than 5 months, if we're honest. In Idaho right now, I want to hit up all the dreamland and evergreen parks around here, go like through Montana.
Nice.
I don't know if there's a part of me that's like, is the Canadian border open? What up, your girl's vaccinated? Because that'd be really cool. But I don't know. They're probably too smart to let Americans in ever. Then go to Washington, meet up with some skate homies there. I have not explored Washington, and there's so many skate spots that are usually wet. So I'm excited for that. And then I have work at the end of June in Bend, which to me, I'm such a fucking brat, because I'm like, the end of June, I already have to work. I already worked all the way till February. Like, I'm such a freaking brat, but money's a resource. And so then I'll be posted up in Bend for probably a couple months and making some money. And that's as far as the plan goes. So I don't know.
Wow.
I love that though. I love that people can do that. I love that you can do that. I love that you can like live this lifestyle, because god damn it, you would not be the same person, obviously. Like you would not be Chandra had you not lived these moments.
And it's just like, okay, I think that I talked to you and Owie about this when we went to Malibu, of like, it's so, as this isn't as much skate related, but as someone who has struggled to fit the baseline my entire life, it's so affirming, and it gives me so much hope to see people living lives outside of what we've been told is the way, the capital T, the way. Like, yeah, not to be like Mandalorian on us, but it's just really nice to like I got to spend a day with Chandra and Owie time's not real. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I can't tell. It could have been yesterday or 10 months ago, and I've been like, yes. Yeah. But getting to spend the day with you two in particular was like, that was definitely divine intervention, because it was two people who just like, Owie quit her job and like drove across the United States and is just following her intuition, and it's amazing. And like, that's pretty much what you do too. So it's like, it was just so nice to, and I think that early skate, like 2017, that's when I started skating too. And I think that, I don't know what it is about that year in particular, or that's when I started skate park skating, sorry. But I don't know what it is about that year, but I think that year was a weird wave of roller skaters that it was like, and even before then, people who were misfits and didn't fit into like other communities that were all like super weird and eccentric and eclectic and had all these weird interests and were like, hey, I'm kind of sporty, I kind of want to do this, and like, hey, I kind of want to be artistic with this too. And I feel like everyone who started skating in that era, or even just before 2019, 2020 in general, it was all like a bunch of people who were just like misfits. And it's so cool to see. I don't know, I just feel like the roller skating community has given me, or like the core community has given me so many examples of people who are living extraordinary lives, that are living lives outside of what we've been told is what we're, heavy air quotes, supposed to do. And so it's just cool getting to see like, I don't know, all of the, what life can be, all of the what's the word, potential.
Yeah.
And like even the traveling, like getting to just you were telling me when you were here how many skate parks you've skated, and I was like, what the actual fuck, that's insane. Like how many skate parks you have gotten to skate, and like spots, not just parks but spots, and it's like that is amazing.
Yeah, that's the shit that matters, I think.
It's
Not
very,
the experience.
it's so interconnected to skating, like being able to travel, because it's the thing that like, okay, where am I gonna go now? I don't know what to do. And I'm like, oh well, somebody said there's a skate, like, and then you know, you guys even yes, social media plays a part of it, but it's like, hey, we do the same thing. Do you want to be friends? Like, oh yeah, cool. It's like, do you need a place to shower? I'm like, I smell bad. Yeah, like, you know, like meet people, and then what's the next destination? Okay, well, where's the next skate spot? And it's everywhere. It's without language. Like, you know, I have only skated in countries that speak English, but I know from other people, and I can only imagine that if you show up at a park and you don't have like the same like language of tongue, but your feet be kick flipping and shit, then you're like, hey, have that common, you know, and you get it. And yeah, just the it's so cool too, like the tiniest random towns, especially in Oregon, where I've spent most of my time like traveling around. I'm like, I would have never been to that town. What is that? It's 500 population farm town has a dope pool park. Like, what are you talking about? You know? And yeah, just the community that comes with it of other people that are there too, who are like, hello, I also do this. Come here. I'm like, sick.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about when you got to my house, where I was just like, hey, yeah, this is my apartment. If you want to shower, you can shower. Take a seat. I'm just screen print or doing some block prints, just doing some good old linoleum carving. What about you? Like, just
yeah.
And it's I mean, obviously not everyone feels like a longtime friend right away, but I feel like it is such a universal and like, yeah, universal language. And it's weird because it is a language. It's just, I mean, just like how ASL is a language, so is skating in a way. And you can tell so much from someone. And yeah, I think it's really cool that we have that in the traveling or like having the community even where you're not from or have no awareness of, like, that's really cool.
I think especially during this time, I mean, I'm 28, you are 26. Chandra, you said you were 28 also? So like, especially I feel like it's so hard to meet like organic friends, and yeah, we're meeting on the internet, but that's just because that's the tool that we have, that the accessibility is there. But like, it's so cool just being like, hey, I like your little boots on your feet. Can I skate with you, please?
Yeah.
Can I color skate with you, please? Or like being like at the skate park and seeing a girl that looks cool, or a guy or they thems that looks cool, and being like, what kind of wheels are those? But you know what kind of fucking wheels they are. They're fun days. Like, you know, like, I'm just gonna break the ice here by just asking a silly little question, because we know that at least we have this much in common.
Yeah.
And even if we don't speak after this, we will have had a good time because of this and with this.
Yeah.
And like, it's so weird at this age to be like an elementary school child at heart.
Yeah, and yes, absolutely.
And financially.
And I am also, yeah, we're elementary school children at heart and financially. Yeah, and it's just this like, I feel like another part of it too is the roller skating community is such a like microcosm, and it's like its own little world, but it completely absorbs you, and it's like all encompassing, where like once you're into it, you're fucking in it. Like you're sucked in. Like I know that I think of skating a lot all the time. Not all the time. I think of other things too, but like it's on my mind a lot.
But it's, for me at least, it's mostly skating related, because again, like what you're doing is breaking the norm of what do you have to do to live a successful life, a fulfilling life. You got creative with it and you figured out your own way around it. Like, I feel like I think about skating not just like what tricks I want to do, but it's like, what can I do to make this my whole entire life? Like everything. It makes me so happy. It makes other people so happy. Like, how do I feed myself in this situation? And I think that like, I feel like I trailed off there, but
it's good.
Wow.
No, but it is a good point, because it's like, yeah, if you're not thinking about the action of skating, then it's like, how can
what can I do?
Yeah, what can I do to like yeah, to like have my whole life be encompassed by this. Like how How do I get as much of me covered in skating as possible?
And that's why being a new skater too is like such a beautiful feeling, because like when I first started skating, people were still doing like rollouts and like all this stuff, and I was so new that like I was just like, friends, a big old group of friends, and all that's all we're doing is just skating down the beach path. But like, look at this, is I don't have to just work my 9 to 5 that fucking sucks. Like I have something to look forward to that makes my body feel so good. Oh my god.
Yeah. Also, side note, we met at a rollout. And yeah, remember? At the rollout? And this is what happened was
I remember. Hold on. Say it.
So wait, which part? Like, oh, are you actually? So where are you from?
Alyssa asked me if I was actually from Long Beach.
Because
like,
everyone says they're from Long Beach, but they're not. Beach,
but it's like I'm from Bellflower, or I'm from LA,
Orange County, or some shit.
Or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I remember I was like, you know, I was just like, oh hey, like hey, and I was like, oh, are you like from Long Beach? She was like, yeah, and I was like actually from Long Beach? And she was like, yeah, and I was like, no fucking way. What school did you go to? And it was just like a shocking moment, because most people, they'll be like, oh yeah, I live in Long Beach, or like, oh I don't know, they won't directly say they're from.
I feel
Long
like we
Beach.
had this feeling of like we know things about each other.
Yes,
because of where we're from.
Yes, and it was so funny because I was just like, wait, you're like actually from Long Beach? And she's like, oh yeah, I went to this school, and I was like, no fucking way, I live literally right there. Like my parents live right there, and it was just like the funniest thing. And then I was like, well, I'm your friend, whether you want us to be friends or not, we're friends now. But
welcome.
That was about 60 weeks ago. I just rewatched my stories.
Oh, 60 weeks ago.
But look at pregnancy.
Yeah.
Our pregnancy has been 60 weeks long.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
well,
yeah.
dude, that's about skating too, though, that I think about is that it is so social, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Like coming from roller derby, where you have to have 5 people on each team, you have to have like people on the side doing refereeing, and like you have to have a whole crew to just be, oh, I can just roller skate any time of any day whenever I want by myself if I want to. You can show up not feeling the social vibe. People do that. They're just like, look, I'm just fucking doing my thing, and you're just like, cool. Or you're like, sup, and you're like, sup, and then you're a cool dude, I'm a cool dude, and you know, like it be so social and autonomous at the same time. And
yes, and that's what's so nice. It's so nice. Yeah, sometimes I'll just like, I mean, like the skate park that we skate at all the time, like if I go there, even if I'm alone, usually there's someone I know there, but like it is, and even then it's nice that like you don't always have to skate with people, like, you know, like people aren't offended if you like, or at least none of my friends, I should say, aren't like offended if I'm just like skating by myself. It is so nice. And I never played derby, so I don't really know that side of skating, but I did play team sports my entire life since I was 3 years old, so I know the feeling of like
people depending on you.
Of like having to be somewhere at a certain time every day, Monday through Thursday or whatever it is, and it's so nice.
It's draining.
Letting people don't like perform like or do the trick, quote unquote, but aka like the play, whatever it is. For park skating, if you succeed that day, like you yes, you share your celebrations, but it's for you. And if you are like, oh yeah, like I'm in a plateau, like I did what I was comfortable with, but I felt good, like, or I didn't feel good, but I still fucking put on my shit. Like nobody's like, God damn it, all you did was the same line you've done. Like nobody's like, it's still your own journey, and you're not letting it down. And you know, like derby, people depend on you. If you say you're gonna be there at practice at 6, you better fucking be there. Versus like the park, I mean, it's just more flow. It's just more fun.
Absolutely. That's so funny. Oh man. Every time I think of sports, it just reminds me of like, oh my God, I played sports my whole life. I think I blocked it out. And then I think like all the times I was thinking of when the person I had a lesson with yesterday, when she had mentioned like crying over stuff, I was like, I've cried so much over skating. And then I was like, I've cried a lot over like physical sports in general. Like I can imagine, like I remember like young me from ages like 10 through 16, like sobbing at my pitching lessons, and just like, and it's the feeling of like, I'm gonna let everyone down. And it's like, oh, I'm not I'm not getting to 70 miles an hour. Like I'm not getting like it's just the weirdest things.
Have
like,
you ever cried at a water polo practice?
Yes.
No one can see your fucking tears, okay?
I've cried during games in the water.
Yeah.
I have cried in the water at water polo games.
That little guy.
Yeah. Oh my god. In water polo, they scratch you underwater. Yeah, they do
They do the pull down.
They pull you down. Yeah.
So like,
who are they? Who are these people?
It's the team against you, but they literally. So this is me treading water,
and then it's like
and then they'll like try to drown you.
Yeah, I was just telling it's true. The girl or the lady who I did the lesson with yesterday, she was like asking me if I played sports growing up, and I was like, yeah, I played this, and I was talking about water polo, and she's like, wow, water polo, talk about a rough sport, and I was like, I have. If you want to get assaulted underwater all day, that's the sport for you.
With our hands.
Yes, I have come out of the water multiple times with blood coming down my legs from being scratched.
What the fuck? I had no idea.
Yeah,
this is high school.
Yeah, this is high school. They make you grind your nails down on the pool
if they're too long.
Stop!
Before games. Yeah.
So yeah, before games, if your nails are long.
Well, luckily at that point, I think their coaches have nail clippers.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, yeah, if you don't.
But fucked. Yeah, it's fucked up. Water polo is fucked up. Anyway, did you play sports growing up?
No, I just played roller derby.
Really?
Yeah, and clarinet a little bit. I was actually really like
played
like it's a sport.
I was very reserved shy until my teens.
You were what?
I was very like shy and quiet and reserved.
Okay.
I didn't haircuts till 7th grade. It was past my butt. I wore dresses to my ankles. I was very like and then teenagehood. Ooh.
Like horses?
What?
Did you like horses?
No, I wasn't a horse girl. It was.
Wait, that's so wild to me.
Because I didn't want to be. Just
oh,
kidding.
Okay. Not that it wasn't available.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm just gonna jump back though, like comparing sports to what we do now with like a roller skating sport of roller derby, and it's obviously just my own experience. Like, I will say that sometimes especially when I was, even now, sometimes I kind of wish that I did have like a coach, somebody being like, Chandra, go slide to the left, because I hate it. It makes me uncomfortable. And what I love / hate about park skating is that I'm like, well, I don't have to. Nobody's gonna make me do it. And sometimes I had a coach. It's like, you better go 20 minutes over there and pump your switch side. And I'm like, no, because they're better at that. Just one ways I feel like, yes, I grow, but within my own comfort zone, because I don't have like a mean bossy person telling me to go do those things that I know practice, but I don't fucking want to.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, especially after like I've been coached my whole life, and it's so weird not having a coach, because like I am my own coach now. Well, Greg's also my coach, but he's not there all the time.
He's gonna kill you.
Yeah. But you're so right. There are some, like, recently I I guess kind of. I just forced myself to practice dropping in switch. So usually I drop in, I'll put my left foot on the coping and my right foot on the deck, and then my right foot goes in. I'm right foot dominant. Mm-hmm. So I started practicing having my right foot on coping, then my left foot is what I drop in with, and it feels so strange.
Why are you doing that? I said why.
It's just like, you know how you were talking about earlier, like taking something that you already know how to do and doing it on a new obstacle. It's literally just like switch it. It's like, okay, I know how to drop in.
It will completely.
You won't see me fakey stall for fun, but you will see me drop in switch apparently. But it's and like pumping switch feels like the worst thing on the planet.
So brand new, right?
Yeah.
Like I roller skating. This is my first day. That's what it feels like.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so humbling, but it's also like I see a lot of bladers. That's kind of my point of reference, is watching a lot of inline skating and seeing how at some point in your skate life you have to figure out how to do things always in every way, like left, right, here, there, everywhere.
For sure. There's people be like, hey, or friends like who don't quad skate being like, hey, you should try and go do insert blank trick on that thing, and I'm like, oh no, I don't go to the left, so I can only do that backside.
Yeah. Oh my god, me too.
They're like, what do you mean you don't? I'm like, yeah, no, I just don't slide to the left. like you said, if there was no but as far as like if you just were ambidextrous with like all tricks and all things, then that's like out of the equation, and then you just have to do the thing, versus like, my body doesn't know how to do that.
Yes.
You know what's funny too is you switch your feet the exact same way that like I do, and or
Yeah.
we vice versa, right
Yeah.
leaning and then right. So I say that my right is like the brains of the operation. Like he takes charge up here. Okay, now he's got to go back over here because he knows what to do back there. Like left doesn't know what to fucking do. Left was the team that was born 5 minutes later.
Righty's the fucking boss.
Right,
Lefty's just along for the ride.
Us?
Mom said I had to bring him. So, but in my head, when I first started skating, and I would try to drop in on my left, and it wouldn't work out for me, and I would keep falling on my tailbone every single day, to the point where when I would drive home, like hitting the gas, just this was like, huh. But I was like, well, if I switch it up, that should mean that I can do everything switch, right? No, wrong. Completely wrong. You still have to
I'm like,
You're like, yeah, you can. No. It's such a brain, like your body really does take over.
Yeah, your body is in charge of what feels good and bad. That's why it's so funny when, just like you said earlier about like people calling things wrong, it's like, maybe it's wrong for your body, but for my body, it's right.
Wrong?
Yeah.
You're saying this is wrong.
No,
Can't fix this. Can't fix any of this.
That's unfixable. No, it's just like whatever your body chooses feels good. That's what we're stuck with, and we just gotta work with it. I've been trying to slide to the left too, because I slide to the right, like you do, and so yeah, I've been trying to practice switching it up, and it feels gross.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. For example, when I'm fearful or I'm like testing the waters, fakie to me is like comfort zone, because I know I have my brakes, and playing roller derby, like as a brace position, you are backwards the whole time. Yeah. And you're like, and so like it is to me like safety, comfort zone. And so it's just another one of those things that doesn't necessarily carry over, where people are like, what, how the fuck do you fakie? I'm like, bitch, it's because I'm scared. And so where was I going with that? I just wanted to tell you guys I like fakie. Apparently no, there was God damn it, there was a connection.
Second, 1 second, I know it.
Things feeling good or not?
Yeah.
No, I feel that too with like, I really like carving fakie feels good to me, but only on one side.
It looks good.
Thank you.
It looks good, right? Yeah.
What's that?
It looked good on you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Looks good. That fakie card's looking good on you.
Thank you.
I don't feel like I see people really like fully pump and carve bowls like fakie, like I saw you at Morel's.
Nah, thank you.
So good. Yeah, a lot of your fakie shit has been like
on
a fakie kick.
Ooh, and
sorry,
specifically there at that wooden bowl, those corners, and when you're like fakie,
it's so fun. We gotta do it again. We'll do it again, I'm sure.
I know. I'm like, when we asked you about your plans, I was like, so
no, but okay, also I can't help but, I mean, LA is just too big city for me, but San Diego is like close enough.
Yes.
It feels like a good, like I could see myself being there, especially because the skate scene is like real. Like maybe real is not the word. I mean, because it's definitely real in the places that I skate as well. But it feels relevant. I feel like I got to just meet all these people that I've been watching and being friends with through social media, and I'm like, oh, you guys actually exist down here. This is where you live. Yeah. Oh, these parks that you guys skate, and there's epic parks up in Oregon and soon to find out Washington and all over. But the scenes are just it's just different. Like they're smaller, and also I feel I feel like if I spent more time down there, I would have the potential to be challenged more by other quad skaters.
Yes.
People who are, bitch, how do you do that? Because it just seems like it's been more developed down there.
Yeah.
So that maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh my gosh, please. I know, I felt so like Like I got a little Costco sample of like Chandra, and
but
I
I
was like,
couldn't afford the whole box.
I know, but it was sold out. Like the box, the whole box was sold out, and I was like, but I'm addicted now. I know, and I'm just like,
or we can come to you. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'll see you in
Where-
Seattle.
Let's do
But
it.
yeah, okay. Winding down. What are your man? I have so many questions for you always, but what are your words to live by? Skate or not just like what in skating and outside of skating? Or like what are some like core principles for you?
It's kind of morbid, but it is what it is. Like honestly, I feel like, and you could take it as like, wow, that's I just live and think very temporarily, because I'm just like, oh, I could literally die tomorrow. So whenever I'm scared or I have doubts, I'm just like, dude, you could just like die, so chill. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I feel like embracing and thinking about my mortality, which I just don't think is encouraged in our culture. It really brings me calm whenever I'm like scared or uncertain, or like I said, fearful or doubtful. And yeah, I think about dying a lot, but in a way that makes me feel like able to live.
Oh,
we talked about that. Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. No, that's so. Oh God.
Yeah, and I know though that, if I put on like my adult capitalistic pants, that I'm just like, yeah, but everything you do every day is based on like the work that I do, like service industry and labor. They're all based on my youth and my body, and even like skating, not even, but especially skating is very, very much so dependent on like my physical, like maybe not youth, but like fitness or ability. But also, whenever I worry or think about that, I'm like, shut up, bitch. Like, you're just doing it. If you're out here doing it every day, your body's like, fine. You're fine. You're doing it.
Absolutely. We had this conversation in the car on the way back from Malibu, too, of like, especially once you've experienced death of a loved one, it's kind of hard to not think of things in terms of, like, I could literally die at any fucking time. For no reason.
Middle of the stop. Boom.
For no reason. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
So I do.
Yeah, and especially like, I think I've talked about this with you too, of like, I have such severe anxiety that like, that's one of the things that calms me down too, where I'm like, you could die tomorrow, you could die in a week, you could die in a year, and like, you're gonna be so, I don't necessarily believe in like an afterlife, but if I did, I'd be like, you're gonna be so pissed at yourself if you look back and see that you wasted all your life worrying about shit that doesn't matter at the end of the day, and like just basing your life off of irrational fear or allowing fear that isn't healthy to control your life or whatever. But
yeah, that was beautiful though.
That's a good one.
I think that's a good spot to end it at. Not because I want to stop talking to you, because I never want to stop talking to you, but because
it's been a minute.
It's been a little bit of a minute.
Yeah. So what are your shameless plugs? I really want to get your zine ASAP.
Shameless plug, baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna make I made a skate zine a couple years ago with my friend Alpaca, but I want to make a new updated edition. I made a couple zines one's about love and one's about loss. Send me your addresses, guys, because I want them just like myself. But like, yeah, my big shameless plug would be I skate with a shop in little Salem, Oregon called Hit This Roller Derby, and they are, dude, like before I'm gonna start crying just thinking about it. Before you guys recording, the shop owner, I'm supposed to write a bio because we're like updating our website, and I just was like, I like to help people drop in and I'm friendly, and I sent her the bio and she's like, what the fuck? This does not do you justice. You are a being. And she just said this whole thing like in a she's like New Yorker, like it wasn't meant to be like, she just like very factual. She wasn't trying to be like, sweet. Oh, like, yeah, exactly. She's like, what are you talking about? People are gravitated to you. You're a beacon of light. Roller skating is the only thing that grounds you, if that. And and I was just like, you're right. Like, I love you. But yeah, so this shop, we are located in the same facilities that I played roller derby at. So in the middle of games, like broken kingpin, I go in there and be like, Alexa, I broke my kingpin. And she's just like, give me 2 minutes. And like,
so cool.
she's like a skate wizard, and her and her partner Chelsea are like just the most. They're not in it. I know this is so corny. They're not in it for money. Like legit, if you go in there, they're not going to be like, you need the $300,000 million boot. They're going to be like, what are you doing with skating? What's your budget? Like, let's work with you and find. They just want the world to be roller skating, and they've known me. Elixir and Chelsea have known me since I was 16. They were friends with my mom, and when I first started park skating, I was just like dipping my toe in it while I played roller derby. I'm like, this is kind of fun, and they're like, we want to actually sponsor you for park skating. And I'm like, but I'm not good yet. They're like, yeah, we know you're not good yet. We know that. Don't worry. Because
but they saw that.
But they're like, it's not about that. It's about like, spreading and getting people excited and being like a good advocate for this growing sport. And anyways, I really don't even know if I would still like, it kind of got me by saying yes. I was like, oh, I guess I have to do this now. Like, I was kind of like interested in it, but because they like believed in me, I was like, oh, I guess this is a thing I'm gonna do more. And so I don't know, I fucking love them. And I know everybody's got their own local shops, but just throw it out there. We sell online, and they're just such good people to support. And like if you're debating, if you're like, oh, Amazon, I saved $3, but then you pay $5 for shipping, like support your local instead. That's all I gotta say. I love Hit This. Thank you so much for supporting me. And that was my shameless plug.
Oh, okay. That wasn't even that shameless.
I know that wasn't
so
even like
giving.
that was a very generous plug. I was about to say your art stuff too, because you make so much cool art.
I could do that too. Yeah, I just when I'm not skating, I like to express myself like through art. I really have gotten into sewing the last year. So like everything in my this is like my pen, this is my vest, this is like the cover for my chair. Like I just sew all the time when I'm not skating, keep my little nubs busy. But I do all kinds of mediums. Like I've painted murals on RVs and in buildings and on vans. And I just really like to just kind of do all kinds of stuff. I'll come to you wherever you is. I got a van.
My house.
But yeah, free your address. It's boom.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do.
I already sent you my address. You already know my address anyways, but I can't wait to see the zine.
Me too.
There's a dog trying
Benjamin,
to enter.
Get down.
I made an art page separate from my skating / life page on social media, and it's at phallic PHALLICFEELS. Just because some of my art, I don't know if everybody wants to always see it, but if that's a good place to see more in depth.
See more butts.
See more butts.
Yeah, lots of butts, lots of titties. You know what I'm saying?
Yay!
Those IG censored all the time. Woo!
Oh my god!
I wish I was wearing my flower. I love that.
If you're listening and not watching, Chandra's wearing a
flower nipples.
Yeah, a shirt underneath their vested shirt with flowers on the nipples, and it's gorgeous. Yeah, that's perfect though. I'm so happy that we got to have you on. I wish you lived closer so I could. Honestly, I wish I could just be your the bobbleheads for dashboards. I wish that was me. I just lived on your dashboard and went everywhere with you.
And you'd be like, "Don't text and drive," and I'm like, "I'm not.
I'm not." Okay, gosh.
Throws phone. Or tries to do it all sneaky.
Amazing.
Gosh, this was so good. Honestly, to be honest, we wrote 3 questions for your interview.
Shit.
3 questions because
y'all know I talk a lot. What's up?
You don't just like you talk with a purpose, and it's gonna be helpful for people. They're gonna get to know who the fuck you are, and that was our thing. It's like, if we got to experience this, we need everyone to experience this.
Oh, that's so sweet.
No, thank you. Thank you for being you. You're such a goddamn it. You're so cool. I have a crush on you.
I want, and because I told you guys in over Messenger and in person, but I want to tell everybody else my feelings on this. I'm so grateful that you guys are doing this podcast, because when I'm not skating, I want to be skating. And so to think and hear and like literally while I'm listening, I'm just like, fuck yeah. I'm like I feel like I'm hanging out with you guys and your guests. And when I'm sewing, I'm just like roller skating, sewing. And you guys have finally, I didn't even know that this was, I mean, I guess I did know that this was missing, but I just didn't even think it was a thing. I listened to the 9 Club, which is this, but with skateboarding. And a lot of it, I'm like, I don't know who people are, but at least I get to hang out with them. Apparently they skateboard, which is kind of like what I do. But now you guys have created like the version where, and they're like people that I do want to hear about and get to know, where I'm like,
Aw.
God, Roller Ghoulie, like what the fuck? Episode 1, are you joking me? Like, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you guys so much. What you guys are
Thank you for the feedback. It means so much.
This one just ends with like a cry track.
Yeah,
Super-
just
yes.
oh,
Wailing.
a whale.
Super big love to you. You're god damn it. We'll just keep going with this.
I'm
Thank
obsessed with you. Thanks for coming on the show. We will talk to you soon. I'll hopefully see you in Seattle in a couple weeks.
Mhm.
All right.
As always.
Thank you for roller skating.
Goodbye, Chandra. Mwah.
Bye. Mwah, mwah.
We love you.
You hang up. No, you hang up.
No, you hang up.
Okay,
Okay, we'll hang up.
We'll hang up first.
Okay, we'll hang up. Bye.
Okay, bye. Hang up.